In Dan Brown's The Lost Symbol, the hero, Robert Langdon, races through Washington, D.C., trying to unravel a secret Masonic message. He's forced to do it by Moloch. He threatens to kill a man who's both a dear friend of Langdon's and a 33rd-degree Freemason. Moloch also uses blackmail, with evidence that some of Washington's most powerful men engage in Masonic rituals so bizarre, revealing them would bring down the government. Could the rituals of Freemasonry be that shocking? You decide.
Masonry is a transformative art. It can be extraordinary in a man's life. It's speculative and alchemical and all those things.
Cliff Porter is senior warden of Enlightenment Lodge 198 in Colorado. Brothers here say they are seeking eternal truths, learning ancient mysteries.
What I take offense to is the fact that sometimes it is said we have no secrets, or that what can be known about us can be Googled. Nothing could be further from the truth.
Somewhat reluctantly, they opened a few of their doors to our cameras. They practice alchemy here, the ancient art that sought to turn lead into gold. You might think of alchemy as pseudoscience, but it's also been used through the centuries as a metaphor of personal transformation.
This process of removing impurities to elevate it to something greater and more special and more potent is very much what we also do within Freemasonry. Take good men and make them grow into something more special.
Initiates go through a ritual that's meant to be intense and startling. First, the subject's vision is taken away with a hoodwink placed over his head. Then, a master mason, dressed as the Grim Reaper, issues a warning.
If you persevere, you will be purified, you will overcome darkness, you will be enlightened. But if your soul is fearful, do not proceed.
If you're not comfortable with what's going on, if you're nervous, if you think maybe you've approached the craft for the wrong reasons, you're given a chance to say, I'm no longer okay with this.
Sean Byer joined the Freemasons recently and went through the initiation. Those who elect to continue are led into a place the Masons would not let us show you, a chamber of reflection.
You go into the chamber of reflection and you remove the hoodwink, and you're presented with what is a very interesting image. And Dan Brown described it pretty well in his book.
As Brown describes it, the chamber includes a human skull and bones, elements used in alchemy, and a pen and paper, where the initiate can write a last will and testament.
Some of the symbols are meant to help you think about the fact that your life isn't going to go on forever. And frankly, it causes a very profound experience.
In one of the most striking scenes in The Lost Symbol, Robert Langdon discovers a Masonic chamber of reflection at the center of American power.
You described it as being located in the bowels of the Capitol. Did it exist?
No, these chambers of reflection can exist anywhere.
Right.
Many Masonic lodges have them. There are Masons who have them in their homes.
This kind of macabre symbolism has driven conspiracy theorists through the centuries to think the Freemasons practice some kind of black magic. Brown says Masonic rituals are no stranger than some other, more familiar ones.
If a Catholic church, for example, pulled the shades, and you heard through the grapevine that people were kneeling under a crucifix, an instrument of torture, and consuming blood and flesh ritualistically, you might say, what a terrible organization.
The Masons in Colorado say they embrace their symbolism and mysticism. But in many lodges across the country, the scene is a little different.
I often tell people that if you like bake sales, join Freemasonry, because that's what you're going to be doing.
Mitch Horowitz, author of the book Occult America, says most Freemasons are far from mystical.
They run a wonderful network of free children's hospitals around the nation. They raise money for charity locally and nationally. They do continue to use occult and esoteric symbols. But to a very great extent, these things are museum pieces in Freemasonry today.
You've probably seen the Shriners, an offshoot of the Masons, riding go-karts and raising money for charity. The Masons have also lost some clout since George Washington's day. The last master Mason to serve as president was Gerald Ford. But Brown says whether they know it or not, the Freemasons' secret rituals still connect them to a rich, powerful, mystical tradition.
I intended this book as a reverential look at their philosophy.
And isn't there possibly another side of the coin here? In this day where it's become a little more humdrum with the bake sales and the charitable drives, you've created a little more mystery. You've given some of their mystery back to them. And they might like that.
I hope so. As with any organization, there's some who understand the core and some who are on the periphery. And I'm hoping it starts to pull people in the direction of the ancient mysteries.
The ancient mysteries, they're the key to the plot of the lost symbol. But are they the key to much more?
All of these texts from all of these different authors tend in the same direction, this idea of the power of the human mind and the ability of thought to actually transform the world in which we live.